So today, we're gonna be eating a double-decker peanut butter sandwich, a bratwurst hot dog. That ketchup came out really fast. 3 hash browns and 8 freaking Oreos. Cause I barely ate anything today, and I need to eat. As we're doing this, we're also going to be talking, or I'm going to be talking about my lifting plans for the next month and a half. So, mid-July, I leave for military school, meaning that I will be gone for 5.5 months. So I will not be lifting, really not doing much physical activity for 5.5 months other than running and calisthenics. That being said, I'm going to attempt a 450 deadlift on Friday. Well, first we're gonna attempt 435. If that goes well, then we go for 450. But by the time I leave in July, I want to definitively hit 450. I know I'll hit 450 by then, and possibly hit 475. Now, if I feel that 500 is in the question by then, and I think that there's a low probability of it happening, but it's possible. But if that possibility does happen, I will go for it. So, yeah. That's deadlifts. For bench, I want to 100% be able to hit 265 clean. I've hit it twice. I didn't upload it though, just because it really wasn't the best form. I've been getting I've been trying to get more strict about no butt lift in my bench, because I was really bad about it before. So I want to get that under control to where it's not happening again. I do think that I'll be able to hit, I know that I'll be able to hit 265 clean, most likely now that I've actually started counting calories and doing a 100% calorie surplus where I know what I'm eating, and I'm on about 3,500 calories a day right now. 3,500 minimum. I go over quite a bit just because I am trying to gain weight. It has definitely worked. I've gained in the last week, I put on about 3 solid pounds. Not muscle, mainly in the belly, but my last bench session where I did 230 for 5 felt really strong. So I think 265, I know 265 is going to happen. Hopefully I can get up to doing 275 for a clean single, because I know before I hit 275 a couple of times before I had stopped lifting, but it wasn't as clean as I'd want it to be. So, all that being said, because of my deadlift and switching over to sumo recently, and just wanting to see how far I can take it, I kind of have been slacking on my squats. I've kind of just been going in, doing sets of 5, some weeks just literally doing the same weight as the last week, because for my squatting right now, well, for my squatting and my sumo, because it's working essentially the same, like muscle groups, I'm doing a squat session on Monday, and then a deadlift session on Friday. And I find that gives me enough time to recover from Monday to Friday if I don't go super, super heavy on Monday. If I go crazy heavy on Monday, I'm not going to be able to deadlift correctly on Friday. Which I'm afraid that I'm going to run into on Friday, because I've been doing 255 for 5 for clean reps every Monday. And then, of course, going and doing accessory movements. I do leg extension and leg curls. I'm not to a point in my training to where I really need to do like a million different squat variations. I do want to start working in RDLs just because back growth, hamstring growth is pretty good for that. But I want to work them in on my deadlift days, but because I don't really, on Mondays I kind of just lazy, which I kind of need to get better at. I need to do them on Mondays, but I'm afraid that it's gonna inhibit my my deadlift performance on Fridays. But once I hit 450, or after this Friday, when I inevitably hit 435, possibly 450, I will start incorporating that in on Mondays and seeing how that goes. I use straps for my RDLs. Just because I find that although I can hold 405 for 2 reps clean, easy, my grip starts to absolutely fail me when I'm doing 245 for 10 on RDLs. Though, when I did that, I was pretty, I had pretty much just started lifting again. That was like a month or 2 into lifting again. So that could have just been my grip recuperating because I did just do 365 for 8 last Friday. Which, by the way that 365 moved on the first rep was so crazily slow. I did not think there was any chance of me hitting it for 8. I went in there like not confident, because I'd done 365 for 3 before, but something in my head earlier in that week made me think, hey, we should go for a high rep set, like an 8 rep, before we try this PR. Give more time to recover. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. That was the original plan. That was good. Something in me makes me think, hey, maybe I should try 365. I hit it, but that's not the point. The point is that was not smart. Not a very smart decision on my part. Should not have attempted that in any way, shape, form, universe, ever. Never should have happened. But it did. I pulled it. Which makes me more confident that I can hit 450. Because I pulled 365 for 8. So. And I did that. If if I remember correctly, so on my deadlifts, I take long rests. Well, I found myself recently taking like 4 or 5 breaths from. So when I did the 375 for 3, I took like 5 breaths in between. Granted, that was because I had just done 365 for 3, and probably should have stopped there for the day, but I felt like I had more in me. I then passed out after the lift. Well, kind of passed out. I didn't like lose consciousness, but I like fell on the floor for a second, or I don't remember what happened, but it was not doing that again. I'll tell you that. I'm not hitting a top set. I'm not hitting a top set, seeing that I have more in me, and then going further. Because, like, literally, I think the week before that, I had hit 370 for 1 hard rep. Then, yeah. Then I hit the 405. And then now I'm where I am. So, just overall weird experience that was. But it taught me a lot. Not gonna be doing that anytime soon, I can tell you that. So, yeah. I also don't really know if I'm gonna record this whole meal, because I don't really think I can finish it all right now. I think I'm gonna have to eat the rest of this and then save the sandwich for later tonight. Because the original plan was just to eat, just eat until like 1 in the morning. Just keep eating. But then I decided to make a video and post it. This is actually getting too long for TikTok, so I'll probably end up having to like post half of it there and then just post the full video on YouTube. But God, 450 is like an insane number for me. So, for those of you who don't know, I was in school lifting, doing powerlifting and wrestling at the beginning of my junior year. Come very beginning of the school year, I had a job, I was still working. So, we were still, this was summertime, yeah. So we still had optional practices. Optional. We didn't have to be there. No. We were in school. We did have to be there. Okay. I'm wrong. So I let my coach know that I had work at 5 o'clock and that I needed to leave at 4 so that I could go home, get showered, all that, and get to work. Because I usually leave if I work at 5, I leave at 4:30. I start getting ready at 4. So I was already cutting it close doing this. Now, I was going to get there on time. I live like 7 minutes away from there. And I live like 3 minutes away from my old school. So, bing, bang, boom. That happens. I'm upstairs. So we did our lift downstairs. Went upstairs to do like an ab circuit or something. We finished with our ab circuit. It's 4 o'clock. I'm like, hey coach, can I leave early? Can I leave? I know we haven't, like, it's 4 o'clock. Can I go ahead and go? He said, no, you're going to stay until everyone's done with abs. Mind you, this was a 5-minute circuit. Everyone was done with abs. He was waiting to do like a team huddle and throw your hands up in the air. I was like, okay. And then I said, but sir, I have to get to work. I let you know about this previous. It's 4 o'clock. I need to leave. So, he says something about me being disrespectful and to drop down and give him like 20, 30, 40 push-ups or something like that. He knew I was a strong guy. He might have been like 40, might have been 20. I'm not sure. So, and this is a new coach. Don't like this guy. He kind of had it out for me since the beginning. He, for the last like 2 months, had been saying I wasn't finishing the workouts, wasn't completing them. Mind you, I was. I just wasn't doing it his dumb way, because we had 9 exercises, right? 9 or so. Say we started on deadlift, had some other things we had to work through. It was like a circuit type thing. Or not even a circuit. You did the first part, you went down to the second part, did the third part. Each one had like 3 exercises. Tell me why, in a room of 40, 50 guys, he had all of us deadlifting at the same time when there are 4 big trap bars and two tiny trap bars that can only hold 3 bumpers, because we don't have any metal plates. All we have is bumpers. So there are 6 to 8 guys on a bar and 10 guys just waiting. Of course I'm going to finish early, because me being one of the bigger guys there was always the first one on a bar. On top of that, I just was like better, and like I'm stronger than everyone else here. So of course I'm going to finish the workout first. On top of that, we went through periods where we would do heavy lifting, and then we went through periods where we do light lifting. Cool. That's perfectly fine. I understand that we are wrestlers. We need to build up muscular endurance, not muscular strength all the time. You need to have a balance of both. Understandable. Cool. I'm also doing powerlifting. So, while yes, I'm going to build up that endurance and muscular endurance, I'm also going to do additional stuff, like we would bench for 8 reps. I would do the whole workout, like I would do the entirety of the bench part, and then I would do 2 extra reps. Or I would do like 2 extra sets with heavy weight. Mind you, I was still posting at the time, so I was secretly recording these. And he only found out once, and he got mad and just said, "Don't do it again." I didn't stop, but he didn't catch me. So basically, he was just a dickhead, and didn't like me. After that whole situation with the ab circuit, I was so just angry at this guy that I didn't come to practice for a week, because I was gonna have makeups to do, but I don't think it would have went well. Like, I probably would have gotten kicked off the team if I went back. So after not going there for a week, I felt so much better. Like a weight had just been lifted off my shoulders. Basically the story is I quit wrestling, didn't go back. Loved the team, loved the sport, loved wrestling, couldn't stand the coach. So my entire point in telling that story is when I would wrestle. So I had a problem with smoking weed, and in my addiction-addled brain, I came up there was still that part of me that was like, yeah, I need to be an athlete. I need to do good. So when wrestling season was going, I wasn't smoking at all because I had gotten caught in freshman year with a vape. I made the whole team had to do sprints. I had a broken arm at the time, so I couldn't even participate in half of the stuff. So I was sitting on the sidelines watching my teammates pay for something that I did. So that kind of stuck with me. I never did it again. I was never smoking during wrestling season again. Mind you, because I got kicked from the wrestling team, my addiction-addled brain made it okay for me to smoke whenever I wanted. That being said, I ended up getting expelled. Kind of forgot what the whole point of the story was. But I got expelled. Oh, yeah. Got expelled, and my parents wouldn't let me lift until I could pass a drug test. This was January 15th, the day that I got expelled. I didn't pass until like 2 months later. So I ended up that's why I wasn't able to lift for 2 months. All my lifts went down. I came back. I wasn't even really like it was. I was struggling to bench 185. And mind you, for not lifting for 3 months, I guess that's okay. But I was used to being able to bench 250 with ease, and now 250 is something that is hard for me even now. It's been a struggle coming back off of that. So it was just a real like a humbling experience. Like, I really just this is not doing anything for me. It's messing me and my life up. And because my dream and my goal is to be a world-class powerlifter, and I wasn't able to do that because of my addiction. Well, not addiction. I had a physical dependency on it. I would not, like, if I wasn't smoking, I couldn't eat for 3-4 days. And even then, after that, I would still feel lethargic when eating for 5 days after I was able to eat. That being said, coming back was a nightmare. I felt horrible. Everything sucked. Everything was horrible. I felt really bad about myself, and I also felt really bad about myself when I wasn't lifting. I would look in the mirror and I would call myself a skinny anorexic bitch because I hated myself. Now that I'm back in the gym, I like who I am again. I'm me again. When I'm not lifting, it's like I've lost a part of me. And for a while, it felt the same way when I wasn't able to smoke. It felt like I lost a part of me. But now I kind of realized that I was kind of just using it as a cope for a lot of things. It was a rough time, but I'm doing a lot better now. Yeah. But with that being said, I don't think alarm went off, recording stopped. So I don't even think I touched on what my squat goals were, but that's because I don't really have any as of this moment. I think my goal is to just keep lifting and keep sinking, because I've been sinking my squats deep every week. My goal is to keep sinking them deep, and so when I sink my squats, I have an issue where I'll twist ever so slightly this way, but I'm twisting just enough to where the bar it's supposed to be like this. It's like this. The racks are here. So if the rack's here and the weight's here, it's coming down. It's supposed to do this. If the bar is twisted and the weight's like this, and it's long, so it's gonna come and it's gonna hit that rack. When it's supposed to be like this, it's tilted now, so it's gonna hit that rack. I've been hitting the rack on my last 2 reps for weeks now. So my main goal is to continue working with the same weights that I've been working with, but fix that issue. I also have a couple of, like, I've switched to low bar, and my form hasn't been the best. I do this thing with my back where I'll come down like this, I reach depth, and then I'll, like, shoot my butt back, and then come back into it. Like, so you'll start like this, and then I'll sink down, and then as I come up, I'll shoot my butt back, and then, like, thrust, and then hip thrust back into it. It kind of looks similar to a, what is it called? God, oh, an Olympic weightlifting squat. It kind of looks, it looks very, very similar to that. Just with the way it ends up looking at the end of it. I'm not sure if that's a good thing. I think it can't be good for my back because I'm coming like this on the last part of my squats. Like, my back is at a very non-advantageous angle at the very end of the lift. So I don't think that's a good thing. Just based on everything that I've learned in my time lifting. But yeah. So I need to do more research on low bar, because I kind of just switched to low bar on a whim. Because, well, not quite on a whim. I have I presumably have hypermobile EDS. I haven't been diagnosed. I would have to go see a specialist, blah, blah, blah. I have a friend who has been diagnosed with hypermobile EDS, and he has told me that I most likely have hypermobile EDS, which would mean that my tendons, joints, ligaments, and blood vessels are all stretchier than they're supposed to be. So I could do stuff like that, which I know is a bit disturbing, but it's a part of it. I can also, if I put my arms above my head right now, my shoulder, so it's called a sublex. Your shoulder, see that indent right there? My shoulder is partially out of the socket right now. I can put it down and it'll go back in, but it partially comes out of the socket. It's a neat party trick, but not useful. Actually, very bad for overhead lifts. Horrible. Messes with a lot of things. But God, I kind of just forgot about the eating and just started yapping. But I guess that's fine. This is gonna be a long form content video. Probably should have recorded this in landscape, but I guess I can also just upload it in like 3-minute bits on TikTok. Or I could just upload 3 10-minute bits. Back to what I was saying. So I switched over to low bar because with my hypermobility, like, you can see in my older videos, I would squat downstairs in my basement in my rack with, like, my toes barefoot, my toes pressed up, like, toes pointed out like that, but my toes would be pressed up against the sides of the rack. But that was because I was doing high bar, and that was putting like horrible strain on like the inside bit of my leg, like right here. It, like, I think it's the like either it's the IT band or the adductor. Or adductor or abductor, whichever one is on the inside. I'm not 100% sure what that is. I'm assuming, or no, it's a little higher than what I just pointed to. It's like right below the waistline, but that same inside of the leg area. I think it can't be the IT band, because that's not where the IT band is. I think I had figured out that it was like a groin muscle thing, but like every time I would squat, it would feel like that area was like on fire on both sides. To fix that, I pointed my toes out more. I pointed my toes out more and widened my stance to put emphasis on my glutes so that my glutes could take strain off my adductors. I tried squatting low bar at some point during my training over the summer, and it stuck. It worked really well, so I stuck with it. This was back when I was struggling to sink for 305 on high bar, and like that. No. I was struggling to sink 250 on high bar, and then when I switched to 305 low bar. I was able to get to 305 almost parallel. Like, knees were probably here and hip crease was like here, and then I had sunk it to like here another time, so it was like almost parallel. Hip crease knee wise, the leg looked completely parallel, but not. It was definitely not to a powerlifting standard. But yeah, I guess that is some stuff on my squat. I don't really know what I was talking about, but no, squat goals are just to work on my form. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, I need to work on my form, get better form on squats. And that is going to be the end.